All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the latest installment of Sticky Bleachers, a podcast. I'm Bobby here with you today.
And I am Corey after an exciting weekend talking to you from an Ireland that just turned 100 years old this weekend, Bob.
Oh, well, happy birthday to Ireland.
Oh,
That's
yes,
fun.
Yes. Yeah, it was very exciting on this side. They weren't quite as excited about the Vern Lundquist, Jim Spanarkel action of basketball as I was, but they were celebrating. We did watch some of the games with our Irish and European friends. I think I might have them hooked, Bob. This is going to be good. I think, yeah.
This were a better slate of games than the first one you had to watch, so.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. We watched that Villanova-Miami game. That was just an absolute blowout. But we did go over to a friend's house Friday night, and we stayed up late watching we watched the Virginia-Iowa State game, but they were going back and forth between the Notre Dame-Wisconsin game, which was the much better basketball game as it was. And we got to see the exciting finish. And I even had one of them say, this is actually an exciting game. Yes, got it.
Yes, it's hooked.
I hope
I was wrong about that being a blowout.
That's right. I hope that they're going to be lifelong basketball fans. So
college basketball is one of those things you can get hooked on, at least this time of year. If that's the only time of year you get hooked on it, it's pretty rewarding. So
yes, it is unfortunate that most of the games are so late at night here. Although we were taking advantage of the fact that Ireland hadn't jumped forward yet on daylight savings time. Although this weekend we finally did make that jump, so we no longer enjoy the only 4-hour difference between Eastern and Irish time. Now it's back to 5 hours between Eastern and Irish time. So games are an hour later. So staying up late for the Saturday and Sunday games was trickier for me. But I was watching. Right away, each morning, I would get up to watch the highlights, and holy Hannah Banana, Syracuse over Virginia, Bob.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I've been doubting Syracuse on this podcast ever since the tournament started, and shows what I know, that they're now in the Final Four. But that was just an incredible comeback that they had versus Virginia there. I thought Virginia was running away with it, and I was looking forward to seeing Virginia actually go on to the Final Four and then possibly the national championship. But Syracuse had something like a 25-2 run or something that they had within like the last 9 minutes of the game.
Yes, I think they were down by something like 16, and then they went on an absolute tear. I saw a screen cap of a fun stat of the game, Bob. Tyler Lydon, with 2 shoes at the time, he was 0 for 2, and with 1 shoe, he was 1 for 1. Actually, the CBS graphics department went ahead and made an infographic showing that while he was he was inbounding a ball on this screen grab. So it looked like clearly an exciting game. Here's a couple of comments on it, Bob. This is from Michigan State fan Sporkinator, and the O is a 0. This is the part where Jim Boeheim rips off his mask and reveals that he's actually Tom Izzo. NCAA reveals that Boeheim's suspension was extended into the NCAA's secret suspension court, and Jimmer formulated a grand plan with Izzo to take down Virginia. Why didn't I see this early? Wow.
Collusion.
Yes. And then lots of commentary about Syracuse going into the Final Four as a 10 seed, although they're hardly college basketball outsiders, right? Syracuse has
they're very familiar.
Quite a long pedigree. But someone else pointed out, this was Feds25, who is a Xavier fan, says kind of weird to exclude the higher seeds who've made it to the Final Four, VCU, George Mason, etc., as 11 seeds. So a lot of people are saying first ever 10 seed in the Final Four, but we've had 11 seeds before.
Yeah, we have. But still, it's pretty impressive. You don't get double digit seeds going to the Final Four that often. I don't believe anybody. I would like to know if anyone actually had this predicted, even Syracuse alone going to the Final Four, besides some lone Orange fan.
That's right. Certainly nobody in my little office pool that I'm running here with all of my European friends, Bob.
Yeah. I haven't seen one yet, so. But definitely impressive game. They're going to be playing UNC, so UNC had a very impressive win over Notre Dame, actually. And just a well-fought game between those two basketball teams. UNC, I love the defense that they've been playing since March Madness has really started. And they can, of course, score with anybody. But they've been shooting the three really well, playing great defense. It's a great combination come March Madness time. Did you get a chance to watch a recap of that?
Yeah, UNC over Notre Dame. Yeah, I did watch some highlights of that. It looked like it wasn't quite as insane as the Syracuse game. A couple of comments from that. We have an Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan says, hats off to UNC. You guys are the best team in the nation. Back-to-back Elite Eight trips. Couldn't be happy for the program, and especially Mike Bray, and this is in all caps. Now please go shave that playoff beard.
I like it. Looks good on him. I like it. It's
Yes.
rugged.
And we have this. We're gonna get a little religious here, Bob. So hope you don't mind. We're getting controversial. This is from Stanford fan
was
Yoy
just Easter.
Endia. He has a prayer for us, and this isn't the only prayer that I'm going to be reading today. This is a prayer.
Oh,
It is
Really?
our Jordan, who art in South Bend, crying be in thine eyes. So yes, we're gonna have some crying Jordan memes for the Notre Dame fans, and yes, that's gonna be the meme of the year. I don't know if that will survive all the way till next March, but we'll see.
It reminds me. When I was watching the Syracuse Virginia game. I forget the announcer who was doing the game, but he said it was. I thought it was appropriate, but he was like, "Oh, Syracuse has risen from the dead and is going to the Final Four." So on Easter, no less.
Nice,
very fun.
nice. Yeah, it's
Yes.
got to be hard to when you're doing those to try to make a reference to something like that without being just unfunny or go too far and insult somebody. So,
I thought it was totally appropriate, funny. It worked.
all right, so right down the middle. So like whenever
down
you
the
have
middle.
something that could be sensitive, it's always hard for announcers. Like when.
We live in an overly PC world, Corey. So
Well, and I try on the internet, I try to err on the side of being overly PC because I know that the internet's a dangerous place, and I just want to make sure that I'm not one more source of threatening or intimidating or insulting or offending material. That's why we have the
yes.
non-explicit
I think there's
tag.
I think there's a big difference between being funny and intimidating. So when it comes to just sense of humor.
That's right. So speaking of memes and being a little bit exploitive on the internet, did you see the unfortunate incident of the Iowa State cheerleader taking the ball in the face during that Virginia
no.
game?
No, I didn't.
It was one of those unfortunate little those incidents where there was a loose ball. It got kicked off of a foot, and it was right at the baseline. And there was the Iowa State cheerleader sitting there. A young woman got hit with the basketball just right on the face, right in the middle of the nose. It looked like, and she was let off. She did come back, but she became a meme overnight. As we all remember last year, the Villanova. This may be our segue to the Villanova Kansas game, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we had the crying piccolo player from the Villanova band was a meme that came out last year. Well, she and the rest of the Villanova fans have reason to celebrate this year.
Absolutely. Did they get a picture of that cheerleader? Is that what's going around?
Yeah, well,
her getting
the
hit?
picture and the video of that cheerleader getting hit in the face, and they show it in slow motion. And that's what makes it just look extra painful when you see the ball just one frame at a time coming at this young person's face and deflecting.
That's kind of funny.
Yes. Now she came back. She came back later on, but I could feel some things when you watch it and you feel empathy, pain for her, and that kind of tingly thing when you get hit in the nose with something that and it just makes your ugh.
Phantom injuries.
Yeah, it's hard. It's just you feel just pain for this person there. But yes. So Villanova over Kansas, another big surprise coming out of this weekend, Bob.
Well, again, Villanova's. I mean, since that Iowa game. I mean, even the game beforehand, but that Iowa game on, they've just been looking like the best team in the country, playing really good defense, good team shooting. I mean, Archidiakono is a great shooter, great facilitator for that entire team, but. They just beat Kansas. I mean, they beat them. Kansas is a great basketball team. Undoubtedly the #1 overall seed going into March Madness, and Villanova was clearly the better team after that game.
Yep.
So did you get any comments?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that there was no field goals for Villanova in the last. I think it was 4 minutes 32 seconds. No field goals, but Ohio State fan Skinny Trees says 8 straight clutch free throws for Nova to end the game. Scrumptious. I think
What I
that's
say
a
about free throw shooting, Corey?
Yeah, I know.
What I say?
We should hit the way back button.
I know.
Bob's echoing. I think you need to hit free throws to win the game. That was Bob. That was actually a sample of Bob.
Was that?
I put a sample of you in there, Bob. That
Good.
was what that was. For
Telling
anyone
you,
who's
man.
not sure, yeah. But 8 for 8 in free throws, and you talk about that. That's a way to ice a narrow lead like that against a high-scoring team like Kansas. You just hit every single
Absolutely.
free throw that they give you, and you got it.
And I don't know if you saw, going back to that UNC Notre Dame game, but one of the press set that UNC had I believe it was with like 5 minutes left in the second half. At one point, UNC was 10 for 13 from the 3-point line, which is pretty impressive. You're going to win a lot of ball games if you go 10 for 13, knowing that they weren't. They were like a 31% shooting team from beyond the arc going into March Madness. So very impressive.
You know who else it seemed was 10 for 13 from the 3-point line? Buddy Hield of the Oklahoma Sooners in that Oregon game, Bob. It looked like he could do no wrong.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing Buddy Hield in the NBA. I think he's gonna be a star. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. Well, I have another prayer for you, Bob, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Shall
Great.
we all?
This is our post-Easter episode.
I know that's true. There's very religious. The discussions of these games are very religious. This prayer, each stanza of this prayer was contributed by a different user, so it's what makes it extra special. It's a long comment.
Okay.
Thread. So it started with "All hail Threeses." Now I assume that that's Buddy Hield's new nickname. Threeses is that's a great one.
Buddy is his nickname.
Yes. Well, now here's the prayer. It starts, "Our Buddy, who art in Norman, hallowed be thy game." Next stanza, "Lon's offense run, and brackets won, out west as it is in Norman. Give us this day our daily dish, and forgive us our fouls, as we forgive those who have fouled against us. Lead us not into the off-season, and deliver us a natty. Amen."
Now they mean a national championship, not a natty ice.
I would like both, and that's how I interpret
maybe.
it. Now,
Okay.
the N of natty is lowercase there, so I assume that national championship is natty. Capital N, though, could have been and natty light. Now, I'm not sure how that's translated from the original Greek. Maybe it's like one of those things in the Bible that we're confused today because somebody mistranslated it 1,000 years ago.
That's
but
true.
that was just a nice prayer from the Oklahoma discussion thread. But
that was good.
I put a collection of Buddy Hield highlights in my office brackets little recap spreadsheet that I give to them, because I think that even though they're not basketball fans, it was important for them to see that performance. See one player doing all of that in one game, knocking down threes, and I got to watch the first half of that game. I went to bed with
that's really all you needed to
Oklahoma watch. Still up pretty heavily, and it looked like they were in total control. So
yeah, they really gave it to Oregon, and the Oklahoma Villanova matchup is going to be really, really fun. Again, I said it last week with the Oklahoma Oregon matchup. I just worry about Buddy Hield being the center of attention for Oklahoma. I know he can facilitate shots and he can make others better, but if he comes out cold, and he didn't. That's what happens when he doesn't come out cold, is he can just control the game.
Yep.
But if he does come out cold, it can put Oklahoma in a bit of trouble. So Spangler can be there, but he really hasn't had to do much this March Madness to help Oklahoma win any ball games. So if Buddy Hield can continue to take them to the national championship, then man, that's a pretty good resume builder for Buddy Hield. But I worry about the day that he comes out cold for Oklahoma.
Let's move on, Bob, to our picks. Let's make official on the record picks in the Final Four, Houston, Texas, this upcoming weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about them, probably give a little bit more of a preview in our full episode on Friday. But who you got, Bob? Let's start with the game we just talked about, Villanova, Oklahoma. I'm not sure which order they play in.
Oh, this is another one where I think proximity plays a huge part. Oklahoma being a lot closer to Houston than Villanova is. And Oklahoma Sooners fans, they like to travel.
Yep.
So I think I'll go with Oklahoma.
All right.
I'll go with Oklahoma. I'm a little leery about that. I might change it at the end of the podcast. Who knows?
All right. Well, I'm going to go against you, Bob, so we'll make that one interesting. I will go with Villanova, who seems to be more red hot. It's hard to say one team is hotter than the other. Maybe more red hot as a team. I'm thinking that they are going to be spending a lot of time in the film room this week trying to figure out a way to shut down Buddy Hield. And I don't think they shut him down, but I think they slow him down. I think they keep him from getting 37 on
well, and
them.
also Villanova has a better inside game. So they have the better big men on the inside that they can actually dump the ball in there. And that's where Arcidiacono comes in. He's such an important part of that team. And they're so deep. I mean, as far as like all their scorers, they have a bunch of different scores on that team, so it can come from many different angles. So I like Villanova a lot. To keep things interesting, I'll stay with Oklahoma. But
All right. Well, I'm gonna put another Bob historic sample from the podcast in here right now. Here we go. You gotta score more points than the other team if you want to win the basketball game. That was another
that's any
sample
game.
of Bob put in.
You got to score more runs or points than anybody to win any game, Corey.
Except for golf.
Golf, you play against yourself.
All right, so let's go on to the next game. We've got the North Carolina Tar Heels. Anybody still doing Chris Berman? North Carolina and Syracuse. Yeah,
He's the Jay Leno of sports talk.
For very good reason, nobody's doing Chris Berman anymore. North Carolina and Syracuse, Bob. We got the 10 seed. We got the 1 seed. We got 2 college basketball blue bloods. One of them a little bit definitely had a harder shot through their bracket. Syracuse got a little bit of a gift there from Middle Tennessee, a lot of people say. North Carolina had to fight off all of the tough competition all the way through. So, who you got, Bob?
I've been going against Syracuse this entire time, so I'm not going to change. Yeah, I'm going to go UNC.
Okay.
I do. I mean, I think they're one of the best teams in the country as far as talent goes and athleticism. So,
all right,
UNC.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with you. I can't go
Can't
Syracuse. It's got to happen sometime. It's got to happen sometime. I think Cinderella's clock hits midnight. Although it's hard to call Syracuse a Cinderella. It's next to impossible.
That's the thing about this Cinderella run that they've had. Like, first off, I don't think anybody had it like them going very far. I think most people were along thought process that they even shouldn't be in the tournament.
Yep.
And so that they've gone this far, they don't get the kind of accolades that a normal Cinderella team gets, or the kind of love and admiration that a normal Cinderella team gets.
Right.
So.
Yep. A comment that I read but I didn't pull said something like they lost 5 of 6 of their last games and lost to a lot of really bad teams this year. And their run through the tournament has been just a big FU to everybody, which is like, that makes sense. That's good.
Yeah, and that to Syracuse's credit, that Virginia game was a good Virginia team that they beat, and they beat them when they were down a lot. So they showed a lot of what they are capable of. Just you'd like your Final Four, your national champion, to just be somewhat consistent. You don't want it to just be kind of like a fluke run, but it's hard to say that it's a fluke run if you're playing this well and you're beating, at least one good team. So.
All right. Well, there we go. We've got our picks on the record. Bob and I are at odds in the Villanova-Oklahoma game. We're both going for North Carolina in this game. You know where you can catch simulations of those will be on our YouTube channel, our Sticky Bleachers YouTube channel. Simulations of both Final Four games. Now, programming note, there will not be a sim of the championship game because of the quick turnaround there and our limitations in technology that we record with now, but we do have sims going up of those games. You also could catch recently released, we've got our Negro League series and also the quiz of the week from our last Friday podcast. I made a little photo slide so you can catch it there. I'd like to start doing that. I would like to see those thumbs up and subscriber numbers come up so we can have more people finding the videos that we're putting together for fun and for you, Bob.
Absolutely. And we are also going to be drafting our Sticky Bleachers Fantasy Baseball League this week on Thursday. There are spots still available. I'll put a link at the bottom of this podcast. So if you guys would like to join our 12-man Fantasy Baseball League, click on the link and sign up, and we'll be drafting on Thursday. Should be fun. Baseball's right around the corner, Corey. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm very excited. You could say, Bob, I am buzzing with excitement.
Gotcha.
Because this weekend, Jason Hayward of the Chicago Cubs was scared away from his outfield position by a sudden attack of killer bees in the Arizona sunshine. They had to delay the game, but Jason Hayward was okay, and he would go on to hit a home run later in that game. And here's maybe a final thought for that one. Kevin Burke replied to that saying, "Too bad Ryan Braun didn't get stung. He could have used this to say his chest was tainted by mutant bee venom."
Well, okay.
So in the meantime, that will be all from me today. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on the internet, on YouTube, all those good places. I am Corey for Sticky Bleachers, signing off for now.
I'm Bob. We'll see you guys later.
Play ball! Stinky.